If you don't have a pour as a pourer, then your pour will be poor. Welcome to the place where visionaries, leaders, and kingdom builders come when you are in the alley, as I help you discover the keys to unlock your next level of clarity, strategy, and confidence. I'm Dr. LaTanya. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Dr. LaTanya Moore, here to help you discover the keys to unlock your next level. Okay, today we are going higher as it relates to relationships. Let me tell you something. When it is time for you to elevate, when it is time for you to level up, when it is time for you to move into a new space, new territory, take new dominion, get the keys for the next opportunity, the next level of building, you need a solid crew. I've realized that when you are in the alley, your requirements and the things that you really desire out of friendship, out of mentorship, really out of connection, begin to change. And so if you are a visionary who is in the alley, you're in between those building phases, you might be experiencing, just feeling like you're alone in this thing, right? Feeling like you want to make sure that you have someone that you can say your, I call them raw thoughts to. What are raw thoughts? Those are those thoughts that are unfiltered. Those are the thoughts that, whatever the first things are that come out of your mind, the things that, even if you feel discouraged and you want somebody to just share those things too, you want to have a safe space where you can just be yourself, because oftentimes as visionaries, leaders, and builders, you are so in a space of pouring and in a space of leadership most of the time that you don't have your own space. And so I want to go through 4 things or 4 characteristics that you need in relationships in order to help you navigate this season well. One of the first things that I know that you need when it comes to navigating this season of transition, this season of building, and this season of becoming, it is someone you can trust. Why? Because when you're in the alley, you kind of looking back a little bit like, okay, who can I trust in this space? This space is very tight. This space is very, narrow. And so you're really learning a lot of new things about yourself. And that could mean that you're feeling alone. So you would like to speak to someone about it. However, it has to be someone that you can trust with your secrets, okay? With your information, with your transition, right? And so having someone you can trust and really share with, where you don't have to sugarcoat things, where you don't have to, give them one side and not the other side, right? It's so important. So I want you to think about who that person might be for you. Do you have anyone right now that you can give your raw thoughts to, who you can really trust with your innermost feelings, with your innermost thoughts, even if they aren't necessarily aligned with who they know you to be right now? Is there anyone that you have? Because that part is so important when you're in the alley, to really have someone that you can trust through the process. The second thing that you need, a second characteristic that you need in someone when you are going through the alley and you really want to build up your relationships in this place, you need someone who understands your language. Oh my God. This one is so important because your language begins to change. You begin to speak a little differently. You begin to normally go higher in your language. You begin to say things a different way. And you need somebody who can understand the language, one, of the kingdom, but also understand the language of your industry. There's nothing like talking to someone who knows exactly what you're talking about, right? Even as I'm talking to people, who are also coaches, I'm like, hey girl, I'm building this funnel, or, creating this landing page. Someone who isn't in the field, right, or isn't doing those things, who does not understand that language, is not going to understand what I'm talking about. And that could be frustrating. So who is it that you have who really understands the language and really understands that, I can talk the talk and walk the walk alongside you, right? Not only can you tell me your raw thoughts, not only can you share with me and I'm trustworthy, However, you can also really understand the language of one another. Okay, who is that person for you? And we might be talking about the same person. Now, if you have a 4 in 1, listen, that's the one. Okay, that is the one. The next thing, the third thing that I know is so important when you are moving into a different place or space, or you are in transition, you need someone who can pour back into you. Oh my gosh, you are a pourer. And in order for you to continue to pour, you need someone to pour in. Well, you want to first be poured into by God. You go to straight to the source so that he can pour into you. And you also want someone who is very close to you who can also pour. If you don't have a pour as a pourer, then your pour will be poor. And you want to make sure that you're pouring from a full place, not pouring from an empty place, okay? So who is it in your life who can pour back into you? It's so important to have some reciprocal relationships, and maybe the pouring is reciprocal, where you're pouring out, you're sharing some things, you are, moving into this thing where you are sharing and actually giving advice and all of that. However, you're also receiving from that pour, okay? You need someone that you can have that reciprocal relationship with and that can pour back into you. Or it could be a mentor relationship, advisor relationship, coach relationship, what have you. However, you need a pour. As a visionary, as a leader, you need a pour, okay? Listen, the last thing, the fourth thing that you really need, if you are a visionary or a leader who is in the alley and you are experiencing this in-between phase and in transition, you need someone who can hear from heaven, someone who can hear from God on your behalf. That means you need a prayer warrior, okay? You need an intercessor. You need someone who can hear from heaven on your behalf, pray for you, and actually give you the insight and the foresight that God is releasing on your behalf, okay? That is like gold. Every intercessor needs an intercessor. Every advisor needs an advisor. Every coach needs a coach. Every therapist needs a therapist. And every leader needs a leader who can pray for them, who can, move them into that place of understanding what God is doing, who can prophesy and give them a word, and who can give them the direction that they need in order to move into that next season of building with confidence. Do you have these 4 characteristics in someone or people around you? I really want you to evaluate, because if not, then you can start to feel like you are experiencing a drought in your relationships. And that drought leads to doubt. So I want you to really think about different ways that you can bring these people into your life, or maybe it's just one person who fits all of those characteristics. And maybe it is, really talking to your friends and really understanding where they are, if they can reciprocate and pour right now, if they do understand your language, are they people that, you can trust, or are they the intercessors that you can really call on to pray for you and to seek God on your behalf. Listen, one thing I know is that it is so important to have a good circle. It's important to have people who are going to hold you accountable, and people who are going to see where you're going and not just where you are. And so you want to build a team or a circle around you who can handle all your things. Handle all your things. So make sure that you evaluate and you take inventory of the people around you. You take inventory of your friendships. You take inventory of, the people that you're close to, and you try to find out who can do these things, who has these characteristics. And of course, if you have an opportunity to take that inventory and you're like, listen, I don't really have anyone, and you really need that safe space, then go to the link in my bio. Let's connect. One of the things that I know for sure is that as I've been working closely with a lot of visionaries and leaders, I have become that safe space. There are times when leaders come to me and they say, I just need to talk today. Like, I don't necessarily need you to coach. I don't necessarily need you to give me any strategies. I just need to talk through my stuff. I just need a safe place to do that. And I am okay with creating the safe space for you to do that, and for visionaries and kingdom leaders who just need, right, the space to be themselves as well as receive the pour in the process. So if you are a visionary, a leader, a kingdom builder, and you know other leaders, visionaries, and kingdom builders, I want you to share this video with them, send it their way, and let them know here are the things that you need in new relationships or in your relationships in order to really get through this becoming and building season. And so send it to them. Also, leave a comment. If anything here impacted you, leave a comment. Let me know. That way I can continue to create videos that are very helpful for you as well. And of course, if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, hit subscribe, and become a part of my YouTube community. Okay? Remember, you got the keys. Let's go.